No matter what path you choose to walk, and whether you believe or not, you can be certain that a fairy is watching.
Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and another episode of Real Fairies in Real Photos. This is part 2 of the Wildcat Cave Access near Eldora, Iowa. And I will put a link to part 1 up there in the right hand corner. I'm sorry I haven't been on here for quite some time. I have started another channel, which you can check out in the link below in the description box. I won't go into that. Let's just move right on into the Wildcat Cave Access. I do believe I took a total of 51 pictures at this location. And for part 2 here, I've taken 7 of those photographs, the ones that I felt were worthy for you to see. And that is what I'm using in this video. Stay tuned to the end because even though a lot of them are super good, towards the end is the best. So hang in there till then if you can. And so we'll start out with this first picture. This is picture number 3391. This is the entire picture here. This is the size that YouTube will allow me to use, as big as I can get for you. And what we see here, all that was in this photo that I found were 2 fairies. So I'm going to break those down for you. So the first one is over here, and it's so difficult to know what size to make for you, because I know some of you are probably viewing on your phone and others of you might be viewing on a laptop. I don't know if this size is going to be too blurred for you. So this is what we have. You'll have to let me know in the comments how it works for you. That would be really helpful. So what we have here is a young boy, or perhaps even a young leprechaun, looking through the leaves at us. And I've labeled here, we have a greenish hat, part of one, and I believe this is hair. It's either hair or it's a braid of the hat. I've labeled it as hair. Then we have an eye kind of in shadow here, and another eye right here, an ear right here, and then here's the cheek, and the nose is just kind of a light from basically the daytime. And this face has a lot of light markings on it. Much of it is formed, I believe, by the light, but we can definitely see this being, or at least I hope you can. Sometimes also it's not easy to see them with all the markings around them, so I do have a picture coming up that will give you that picture and this one here just without any markings. Okay, so anyway, the second one in this photograph is right here, and as you can see, they're very close together. So they're both peeking. So with this one, we have the top of the hat is kind of in a point here. It's a black hat. And here is the brim, and the hat kind of goes down this way. So here's part of it. Okay, so anyway, the brim goes down this way. And then we have an eye here. We have an eye here. The nose is kind of a little bulbous circle. And we have an arm where I've marked the elbow for you, and it looks like a hoof instead of like a hand. So I'm hoping you're able to see these. And going to frame 4, we have both here without any of the markings. And I've put the photo numbers down below here. And yes, there's an A and there's a B, because these are from the same photo. I have to mark them somehow. So if for some reason you would like to reference one of these photographs in the comment box below, use this number so I can go back and find out what it is you're talking about with the photos. Also, as we are looking at these photographs, you might actually see other beings in the pictures that I'm showing you around the one that I'm actually sharing. And if so, that's awesome. I know that there's many more in these photographs. I just can't put them all in here, and a lot of times I don't think you would be able to see them as well as I hope you can, so I just won't share them with you. But if you happen to see one and you'd like to point it out, that's awesome. But also keep in mind that if you see one, it is specifically for you. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here is photo number 3394. And as you can see, there are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I have done 4 of them for you. So let's move to the first one. All right, so we have right here, and what we're seeing now, these guys were pretty small in the photograph. In fact, I'll go back again right here. Now keep in mind, this is the whole thing. Imagine standing right here and taking this picture and how much that actually encompasses. So the first one I'm sharing here is right here, so it's pretty small. So when I blow it up, it kind of, to me anyway, looks like a watercolor painting in a way. But anyway, we have hair, okay, a lot of hair. And we have the face. We can see one eye here, and part of one, possibly a nose right there. And we have a shoulder, and that shoulder comes down into the elbow here. Short sleeves, or not short sleeves, but mid-arm sleeves. And we can see a bare part of the arm, part of the wrist, and then a hand here. And this one is obviously sitting, and we have a shoe, part of a shoe. It's got its legs crossed. So part of a shoe here and more of a shoe here. We have kind of high tops, looks like. So there is the first one. And then very close by over here, right above the one that we just did, we have this Lady Fae. She has kind of a fancy hat. The brim of it is right here. It comes down, starts here, goes up here. The top of the hat is right here. She has hair here, but her hair is also in a bun in the back. We can see her face. We have an eye here and an eye here. Here's her nose, her chin. This is a little bit misshapen because there's something here in the picture, whether it be a leaf or something is there. Anyway, so her face is a little bit misshapen down here on the bottom. And then she has an arm that's coming down. She's reaching straight out for something. And here is her hand. So now we'll go on to showing you both photographs side by side without any of the markings. I hope you like this part of it because I feel like those markings really make it difficult to see it. But once you have the markings, for instance, if we go back here and you take a look at what I've shown you here and you go to this one, I'm hoping that you can see her much easier without those markings. So that was kind of something I wanted to do for you because I think it makes for a clearer photo. Okay, so next one is right here, and we're still in the same photograph. This time we are down in the bottom here. This is the whole thing. Down in the bottom, and what we see here is a profile of this little fae. So he has kind of what I guess I would call a bowler's hat. Maybe what they wore in kind of black and white movies, what maybe an English police officer would wear. Okay, so we have the hat, and his hair is back here, kind of sticking out this way. We have an ear right here. His back, we can't really see super clear what his clothing or anything looks like. So I'm just giving you the face. And we have an eye right here. His little nose sticking out, and he definitely has a mustache and what looks like a very good tan. Now there are some things in front of him also. I feel like he is working on something, but there is no way for me to tell what that is. He is wearing, it looks like, black clothing. So let's move to the next one. We'll have these side by side also. Okay, so what we're seeing here is right above the one that I just showed you. We have right here. And this one has kind of a similar bowler's type hat or police officer kind of hat from England, we'll say. And we can see the face right here. One eye right here. The other eye is kind of covered up by the hat. I feel like they're kind of playing dress up in a way. So, and we have a nose right here and his little mouth right here. We also have an arm. We cannot see the shoulder, but we do see an elbow, and I have that marked, and it is dark. The clothing is very dark. I do believe this is his hand right here, very close to his little mouth that's in an O. So I'm hoping you can see that. So we go on, we've got both pictures side by side. And again, this is 3394E, this is 3394F. And I'm sorry if you hear some snoring. My Chihuahua is lying behind me, and he loves, loves, loves to snore really loudly when I'm recording. Okay, so I need to go on to the next picture here. Going on to 12. Okay, so here is another photograph. This is photograph number 3395. And as you can see here, I found only one, although this one's a possibility too, simply because it's very much like this. But anyway, I only marked this one. So let us get 13 up. All right, so, and I forgot to mark her in this photograph. Ha, look at that. All right, anyway, she's right here in this photograph. And enlarged, she doesn't have very distinctive facial features. What we can see are her eyes. Not really being able to tell where her nose is, if she even has a nose. We know not a lot about these fairies. And in fact, I can't give you species of most of these fairies. All I can do is find them, and you know, maybe somebody out there knows what the species is. So if so, please share. But we can see she has like cotton hair. Very fuzzy, very cottony. And I do believe this is her arm, and this is a hand. Kind of misshapen, but if you look over here, and I'm hoping that you can see her in the larger picture here, she looks like she's crawling out from under this crevice, this rock, coming out of a little hole. We have no idea what's behind her, so maybe coming out of a little hole, which would mean she might have to, you know, shrug up her shoulders to get herself out of that hole. And 14 is her with no labels, number 3395A. And photo 15, well, 15 on here, photo number 3398. As you can see, we have 5 that I found on this photo, kind of in an area here, but I am only going to give you 2 of those for this time. The 2 that I felt like were the most remarkable to see. All right, so here we actually have 2 different beings. And you might be able to see one here, one here. Okay, so we'll start with this one. This looks like a rabbit ear. And you might actually think that it's just a leaf with a curl. Could be. But then you look at the rest here. We have an eye and another eye. And I believe under here is part of the face. And of course up here would be the head. And then down below here, we have, first and foremost, what stuck out was this ear. This is the inner part of the ear. This is the outer coloring of the ear, I believe. And then we have an eye with eyelashes. We have another eye here and a long nose here. And unfortunately, I cannot make out any more of the body. I do believe that they're tucked under leaves and such here. So anyway, here they are without any markings. And again, you should be able to see, I'm going to call it a rabbit. I don't know what else to call it. Kind of looks like one. Very small rabbit. And then this guy, maybe he's kind of like a fox, but he's got more like a Pinocchio nose. But they're very clear, I think. So photo number 3398B. And then we have, from that same photo, right here, and here's the one that we just looked at. Right here, we have, I'm going to say it's a young boy, maybe a young rock boy. I get a lot of rocks that are, you know, have facial features and things like that. So we have hair, and that hair goes all the way back here. Here's the shape right here. And we have a dark eye here and a dark eye here. And then here's an ear right here. And a shirt with kind of an opening here. Can't see a lot of the shirt. And I'm pretty sure he has a nose right here, but it's very hard to see at the moment. What I thought was very interesting is on this rock in front where I have drawn mushroom, there's a mushroom there. Only it's not a mushroom that's growing out of the ground. It's a mushroom that somebody has drawn. Don't find that very often. I have found a few drawings, but not a lot. But this is very, very clear. So let's take a look at this one. And I've lightened it a little bit for you here, so you might be able to see more of the features of this little guy. So right here's an eye, right here's an eye. The nose is hard to see, but we definitely can see the hair and the ear and the shirt. But look at that mushroom. So cool. So that's number 3398C. Moving on to the next photograph, which is 3399. And as you can see, I have 4 of them here. I've only actually taken 2 of them from the photograph for you. And starts with this one. Right down in the bottom of the photograph here. So we can see hair. And we can see an eye here and an eye here. And we have what looks like a pink dress. So not a lot of detail in this one, but it stood out to me because of the pink dress. None of the leaves or anything around are pink. This here that it's tucked itself into is obviously a leaf. So it tried to squish into a leaf, but we can see it. So let's look without the labels. Photo number 3399A. And remember, if I go too fast through these, you can always pause this video. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one is right here, and it's quite a ways above the original one. So we were down here, and now we're up here. All right, so this one is one that can be taken a little differently if you're not following my labels. This here could look like an eye, okay? But it's actually like a hair bridge, or think of a cowlick raised up off of the face, okay? And same with here. We've got some hair here, but here is an eye and here is an eye. And we have a nose right here, kind of a long one, not as long as that one, but a little long. And under here seems to be a chin. So if you look at right in the eyes, you should be able to see all of it using this up here as hair, not as an eyeball. So look straight at it. You can do the same thing looking in this picture here. If you look at the two eyes, you can see the nose and the chin, and might even be a little girl that has like a hair bow or curl up here. It's really hard to tell. So there she is with no markings, 3399D. Moving on to photo number 3402. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this one. And I am actually showing you 3 of them. No, 1, 2, 3, yep, 3 of them. I've got my notes down here below, so I wanted to be able to tell you, and then I still mess up. Okay, so we're starting out with this one here, and if we go back to the other photograph, this will be this one down here. So I'm showing you that one first. So here we have the top of the head. We can see the pointed head here. We have a pointed ear right here, an eye, another eye, the nose, mouth, and of course down here is the chin, but the chin is a little misshapen because of, because of this stick. So I'm assuming this little one buried himself under the leaves here, over here, and cannot be seen. And as I'm looking at him, I'm also seeing a little creature right here that I didn't notice previously. That actually happens quite a bit. So I go through my photos usually several times just because it's so easy to miss some things. But we have this one here too, if you want to take a little peek at that one. So next we have with no markings. So hopefully you can see all the things I just pointed out to you. Top of the head, the pointed ear, the eye, the nose, and the mouth. Little cheek, chin. Okay, so moving on to the next picture here. So in this photograph, let's see, 3402 right here. I just showed you down here. We are now moving over to here. All right, so here we are. And what we're seeing here are 2 figures, one here and one here. So we have hair, a lot of hair, and this one we're seeing in profile. A lot of hair. I think this here is an ear, but I didn't mark it. And then his face right here. The only actual part that we can see of the face clearly is the eye. And then when we come down to here, we have the top of this one's head. This here looks like hair. I didn't mark it because I wasn't real sure, but it looks like hair to me. And then we have the face here. So we have an eye, an eye. And this one has a brow ridge. And then a nose right here, and part of the mouth can actually be seen. And then down here is part of her body, but I cannot distinguish parts, so I did not mark those either. So in the next one, I've even lightened this one a little bit. So here's the young boy, we'll say. And here you can probably see her face a little bit better, lightened up, including the hair, which looks almost a little pinkish. And obviously her eye and her nose and her mouth with chin. And if you can make out part of the body, I just couldn't. So All right, next we have, oh, I guess I did 3 of them from this one. Okay, so this one is a very strange picture. And we were here. I've shown you this one. I'm showing you this one. And now we're in the middle right here. And this, again, is a very strange picture. I'm really not sure what to think of it. So here she is in the light. I mean, obviously, she's hard to miss. But she's wearing a hat, kind of like a little top hat. We can see curly hair. Here's all this hair right here. We can see her face, her eye. Here's a cheek. Here's her nose right here. And her chin. And then the body. So I'm not sure if she was morphing herself into an insect, a type of insect that might blend in this rocky area, or if she was merging out of being an insect, or maybe this is kind of like a cocoon and there's a body in there. I just don't know what to think. This is a very, very strange one. So let's see. I do believe I gave it to you without any markings. So this is photo number 3402C. Let me know what you think of this one. It's very different. Very, very different. Okay, and let's see. Go down to this one. So here we have photo number 3405. And as you can see, we have 4 boxes here. I'm actually only showing you 2 of those boxes. So let's go to the first one. And this is the last photo. This is the one that has what I term the best photos, or at least the best photo in total over everything I've showed you so far from this location. But you make up your own mind. I'll let you know when we hit that. So this is a very unique looking creature. Okay, he's right here. He has some big ears. Here's the other one. And you can see how they're, how this one is attached to the face, attached to the head. We have a chin down here. We have an eye right here. And the other eye over here. And the nose right here. Here is the mouth. And we have an arm with the hand. And if you can see the smaller picture over here, you can see how he's got his, and if you look at the bottom, how can I do this? There it is. Okay, he's doing this. He's got his face turned like this and his hand up. And very clear. I mean, this one amazes me because it is really very clear. And if you look at it without the markings, and even stand back from your computer, if you're at a computer, stand back from your computer and you can see it even more clearly. But those ears are just crazy. And strangely enough, there's something here too that I just don't know what it is, but it almost looks like a steam spout. Who knows? And this is photo number 3405D. And the very last picture that I'm going to show you today, and by the way, I still have 10 photos to go through, 10 or 11 to go through for this location. So there will be a part 3 if there are any fairies that I feel like are worth sharing with you. So we'll know that in the near future. Oh, and also, I am considering doing lives on perhaps a daily basis. And in those lives, I would be taking the tons of photographs that I still have that I haven't gone through. And I would take 1 or 2, maybe each day, every other day, not sure yet. And going through those photographs to find the fairies, and would love to have the interaction live of where you might be seeing fairies in the photograph also. So let me know in the comments below what you think of that idea. All right, so let's move on to the very, very last photograph. And here's the one we just looked at. Here is where we're going to be looking this time. So in this one, I see two different creatures, okay, but of possibly the same species. This one here, you're going to have to look at, I don't even know how to say it. It can look like something completely different, but I'm going to try to show you how to look. But let's look at this one first so you kind of have an idea of what these beings look like. So here's a rounded top of the head, and we have an eye here and an eye here. Here's the nose. And again, I did not want to mark up its face. And here is the chin right here. So I've got that marked face. Then we have a very large pointed ear. Okay, here's the ear hole, but here's the ear. And again, top of his head. So all that we can see of this one is the head and the ear. Close by, and possibly not the same species, possibly a pet, or maybe it is a person, we just can't, it just has different facial features. But this one has hair, okay? So all this black that you see right here, that's all hair. And then this one also has a very large ear, okay? Here's the tip of the ear, but the ear goes here. And then we can see the eye, which there's some hair going over, but we still see where the eye is. And then here is, gosh, where the nose would be, but it's going down behind this branch here. So it's very hard to tell. So if you look at this as an ear and look at the eye, look at that as hair. When I go to the next picture, hopefully you will be able to see that a little more clearly with no markings. But this is the one that is so clear. And I wish that I could tell you what kind of species it is. I'm going to guess it as a kind of gremlin. If you know differently, please let me know in the comments below. And again, whether this is the same species, just looks different, because this one obviously, maybe it's young, hasn't grown hair yet, maybe it'll never grow hair, I don't know, but this one definitely has a lot of hair. And I've lightened this up for you from the previous. You can see it's a lot darker. I have lightened it up for you so you can see a little better. And obviously we have some kind of a being here that is like this one because of the ear and the eye, but I almost thought maybe it was a pet, a very similar looking pet, but maybe not. Maybe it is an elder. I don't know. So if you have any ideas, please, again, put them in the comment box below. I'd love to know your take on this. So this is photo number 3405B. All right, finally, after all this time, here's your video for part 2, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will try not to have so much time between videos from here. See what happens. But again, don't forget to check out my tarot channel too. That would be awesome. And I will see you again in another video. Take care.